How long does a car accident lawsuit take in Connecticut? Now, that's going to depend on a whole bunch of things. I'm going to tell you what those things are. The first thing that it depends on is the nature and extent of the injuries. Now, if somebody is, they get hurt, their neck and back hurts, they go maybe to an urgent care, the hospital, then they go for some chiropractic care, physical therapy, and they get better. Well, that may be a little bit of an easier case to resolve, maybe not even with a lawsuit. Or if it's in a lawsuit, it's not going to take as long. The cases that tend to take longer are the ones that are medically complex, whether it's brain injuries or back injuries that may require things like surgeries or injections. The more complicated the medicine, usually the longer the case is going to take. Now, there's a big point number two, which is insurance. Sometimes we see people who have to have surgery, and they may have $30,000, $40,000 in medical bills by the time they come and meet with us. And somebody may have a $25,000 policy, which is the minimum in Connecticut, or even a $50,000 policy, which is the next level up. And if there's a lawsuit that needs to be initiated, that case may resolve fairly quickly because the damages probably exceed the amount of insurance in the case. So if the policy limits are higher, that can result in a case taking longer. So sometimes there's policies of 250,000, sometimes there's policies of 1 million, sometimes there's commercial policies of 3, 10, 15 million that are at play here. And if it's medically complicated, it may take a long time to understand the nature of a brain injury. It may take a long time to understand the impact of a surgery. There may have to be multiple surgeries or revisions. Those are the basic variables. Now, with all that being said, on average, COVID threw a lot of things into disarray because our court shut down for about a year. There were no jury trials. But before that, you could pretty much on a sort of smaller case, probably get a trial date in 12 to 18 months after filing suit, and a case would probably resolve in that time frame in general in litigation. Now, if you have a bigger case, that could go on maybe 2-3 years, 18 months to 3 years, that kind of range for a whole bunch of things to get sorted out because there may need to be experts. So I would say on average, for your average sort of case, for an average car accident lawsuit in Connecticut right now in 2023, sort of post-COVID, you're looking 18 months to 2 years for resolution. That's full and final trial resolution, but know that a case can resolve. Sometimes we file suit and cases resolve before much gets done in the lawsuit. Cases can resolve at any point in a lawsuit. They could resolve sometimes after depositions or discovery. That may be about 6 months in. Your lawyer can also put pressure on the insurance company. They can file an offer of compromise. They can file a prejudgment remedy. Those things can force an earlier resolution. So, I hope I've answered your question. It's a lot to think about. Any given case, you should always talk to a lawyer who knows the courts, who knows the Connecticut courts, who's in those courts, to give you a really good idea from both your case and what's happening at the local courthouse as to how long something's going to take. As always, if you have any questions, you can give me a call, 860-471-8333.